Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been making waves online, yet surprisingly underreported by mainstream media: the alleged underground war in Europe. You've probably come across some whispers on social media, seen a few cryptic headlines, or stumbled upon a thread that made you stop and wonder, is there really something happening beneath the surface, quite literally, that the media isn't telling us about? In this video, we're going to explore what's being said, where these claims are coming from, what little information has surfaced, and whether there's any truth to these rumors, or if it's all just speculation spun into a conspiracy. Stick with us, because this is going to be one intense and thought-provoking breakdown. So, what exactly is meant by underground war in Europe? The term sounds like something out of a sci-fi thriller, a secret conflict happening beneath our feet, beyond the view of satellites, news cameras, or civilian witnesses. According to some online sources, there are claims of extensive tunnel systems being used across various parts of Europe, especially in countries like Germany, France, Switzerland, and even the UK. These tunnels, they claim, are not just remnants of Cold War infrastructure or public transit systems. Instead, they're supposedly the battlegrounds for covert military operations involving special forces, intelligence agencies, and even international coalitions. Let's break that down a bit. One of the most common threads found online connects these underground tunnels to human trafficking networks and black market activity. The narrative here is that European and international forces have allegedly been conducting raids in these tunnels to rescue trafficking victims, dismantle operations, and neutralize threats. Some even go as far as to say that these operations have uncovered technologies and facilities not known to the public. While it sounds far-fetched, it's important to recognize where this idea comes from. Much of it traces back to fringe forums, whistleblower testimonies, and supposed military leaks sources that are, understandably, difficult to verify. One of the key reasons this theory has gained traction is the eerie silence from mainstream media. While the media often reports on major military activities or crisis situations, there's been barely a whisper about this alleged underground conflict, and that vacuum of information has only added fuel to the fire. For many, the silence is suspicious. It raises the question, if something really is happening underground, why wouldn't the media report it? Could it be due to national security, censorship, or something even deeper? Now, to be clear, skepticism is absolutely necessary here. A lack of media coverage doesn't automatically mean something is being hidden. It could just mean that the claims lack credible evidence. But some independent journalists and citizen investigators claim to have noticed unusual military movements, especially in areas not known for conflict. Convoys moving at night, roads suddenly closed with no explanation, or even military aircraft flying in strange patterns. Could these be signs of something more covert? Let's talk about one particular example that's gotten attention: the Alps. The mountainous region between Switzerland, Austria, and northern Italy is said to be home to a vast network of underground structures, some of which were built during World War II, others supposedly expanded in recent decades. Whistleblowers allege that secret bases and tunnels run for hundreds of kilometers beneath these mountains. Theories suggest these are being used either by rogue groups or are the sites of hidden confrontations between different factions of global powers. Again, there is no verifiable public evidence for this, but it's a consistent part of the narrative being shared. It's also important to mention the role of NATO. Some online theorists believe NATO is involved in these secret missions under the guise of joint training exercises or infrastructure inspections. NATO forces regularly conduct drills throughout Europe, and while these are usually public knowledge, some claim that certain classified missions are concealed under the radar. This further fuels speculation that something more is going on than what we're being told. Another thread that pops up often is the alleged use of deep underground military bases, or DUMBs. These are supposedly high-tech underground facilities used for storage, intelligence, and covert military planning. The concept of DUMBs isn't new, it's been a part of conspiracy circles for years, particularly in relation to the United States. But recently, the idea has gained traction in Europe. Some suggest that certain earthquakes or tremors reported in unusual places are actually the result of underground explosions, battles, perhaps, or demolition of these hidden facilities. Of course, all of this is incredibly difficult to verify. Most governments don't comment on classified military operations, and there's no official acknowledgement that such underground battles are occurring. That said, governments have, in the past, kept major operations secret for long periods of time. Think of the Bletchley Park codebreakers during WW2, or more recently, the Snowden revelations about mass surveillance. Just because something isn't public doesn't automatically mean it isn't happening. On the other hand, many experts and skeptics argue that the underground war theory is nothing more than a modern myth. They point to the lack of credible, verifiable sources and the often contradictory nature of the claims. Some believe this theory is a result of disinformation campaigns or psychological operations meant to distract or destabilize public trust. Others see it as a natural byproduct of our information age, where people are constantly trying to make sense of the chaos around them by looking for hidden explanations. Psychologically, there's something compelling about the idea of a hidden war. It plays on our fear of the unknown, our distrust of authority, and our fascination with secrecy. We want to believe there's more going on behind the curtain because that would make the confusing events of the world make more sense. That's why even in the absence of concrete evidence, theories like these gain followers, and once they gain momentum, they become self-sustaining. So what can we actually verify? Well, we do know that human trafficking is a serious problem in Europe and globally. We also know that underground infrastructure exists both public and private. There are Cold War bunkers, decommissioned military facilities, mining tunnels, and subways that span vast areas. We also know that some military activity happens out of public view. Special forces and intelligence agencies often operate under strict secrecy, but whether all of this adds up to an actual underground war is still very much up for debate. We also need to consider the impact of viral content and AI-generated media. In recent years, manipulated videos, fake audio clips, and AI-generated images have flooded the internet. Some of the so-called proof circulating about underground conflicts may be entirely fabricated or digitally altered. In a world where misinformation spreads faster than ever, separating fact from fiction becomes a real challenge. Still, the fact that so many people are asking questions shows that there's a growing skepticism of traditional media narratives. People are hungry for truth but also vulnerable to misinformation. That's why critical thinking, cross-referencing sources, and a healthy dose of skepticism are more important than ever. So where does that leave us? At the end of the day, the idea of an underground war in Europe remains unproven and largely speculative. There's no undeniable evidence, no confirmed reports, and no mainstream acknowledgement, but the conversation around it speaks volumes about our current social and political climate. Whether or not the theory holds water, it reflects deeper concerns about security, trust in institutions, global conflict, and the very nature of truth in our digital age. If something is going on underground, we may not know about it for years or ever. But if it's not, the fact that so many believe it could be is itself worth examining. Why do we believe what we believe? Who do we trust? And how do we navigate a world where information is both more accessible and more uncertain than ever before? That's where we'll leave it for today. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe there's something happening beneath the surface? Or is this just another internet fueled mystery without a basis in reality. We'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, or any information you've come across. As always, if you found this video informative or thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've got more deep dives coming your way, so stay tuned. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning everything.